Just to let you know, there will be full spoilers in this review, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, maybe go watch that and then come back and watch this. If you're watching a review just to see if it's worth watching, it is. Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. So this is the final installment of the original trilogy, and it really doesn't disappoint. I mean, it wraps everything up really well. And it's not an easy task to sort of do that, because when it comes to wrapping things up, it can all sort of go terribly wrong. I mean, look at shows like Lost, or I'm a big Back to the Future fan. I love Back to the Future. But let's face it, Back to the Future Part 3 is probably everyone's least favourite. I don't think I've ever met anyone who said that number 3 was their favourite Back to the Future movie. It's usually 1 and possibly sometimes 2. But Star Wars nailed it. I mean, this film starts off sort of quite fast paced. We're thrown sort of straight into the action. They're on a rescue mission. They're going to save Han Solo, who's still trapped in Carbonite. He's in Jabba the Hutt's palace. And it's just sort of quite a cool sequence because you get to see Luke return to rescue Han. And as soon as you see him, he's using like Obi-Wan's Jedi mind tricks from the first movie, so you know that he's obviously progressed a lot with the Force from last time. He's actually being referred to as a Jedi. It looks like he's got some fashion tips off his dad. He's dressed in all black, he's got a new haircut, and he just looks a lot more mature and serious this time around. One of the things that I really did like is that we end up back on Tatooine. I thought that was sort of a really good way to sort of bookend the trilogy. I thought it was a nice touch to sort of go back there again for the final movie. So now all the team's back together and they're heading towards the Death Star to take it out for one last time. They know that Darth Vader's on board, they know that the Emperor's on board, so they just think they can take the Empire out in one like clean sweep. And this sort of sends Han, Luke and Leia down to the forest moons of Endor where we meet the Ewoks. And I know some people hate the Ewoks, some people love the Ewoks. Personally, I don't mind the Ewoks, I have no problem with them whatsoever. I do think that that part of the film sort of slows things down, and I get why they do it because we've had the big sort of action scene at the beginning. They're trying to give you a breath before we get the epic sort of final battle scene of the whole movie. But it does sort of pull back a bit when we get all the sort of C-3PO pretending to be like a god to the Ewoks. I mean, I understand why they did it. It gives Luke a chance to speak to Leia and let her know that they're brother and sister. It's fine, it's not like terrible, but it's just something that does sort of pull you away and you'd rather be sort of focused on moving the story forward. I mean, that's me nitpicking. There's really not many bad things to say about this movie, so that's just me trying to find one. So anyway, we get to the big battle scene at the end of the movie and it's epic, it pays off really well. We sort of get spoiled because we get Han and Leia on the forest moons of Endor battling with the Ewoks, Chewbacca, R2-D2, C-3PO. We have Lando in the Millennium Falcon sort of doing the battle in space. And then we have Luke actually on the Death Star taking on Vader. There's so much going on, but it's not too much, it's not overwhelming. I mean, obviously Luke taking on Vader was the most interesting part of it, but it was all good. And the Luke versus Vader this time around was so much more interesting than last time, where Darth Vader's like one-handed just sort of like testing his skills. This time it's Luke's a lot stronger with the Force, and he's definitely a lot more capable this time to actually take on Vader, and it is a really evenly matched fight. And then looming over it, you've got the Emperor, who we've known's been around, but we've not really got to properly see him until this point, and you just sort of get how evil and sinister this guy is. And he doesn't even have to lift a finger to battle Luke. I mean, at the beginning he's just sat in the chair and he's just playing with his emotions just from talking to him. And then just when you think the guy can't get any worse, Vader's down, Luke's just chopped his hand off with his lightsaber, sort of paying him back from the last time. And the Emperor just turns around and says, yeah, take him out and take his place by my side, you know, just slaughter your dad and come and stand next to me. Talk about a weird job interview. And Luke sees what he's doing and just sort of throws his lightsaber away. He's not going to have any part of it. And Vader's just laying there on the floor with his hand just been chopped off, finding out that the Emperor couldn't really care less about him. I mean, the guy's probably regretting a few of his decisions at this point. So then the Emperor realises he's not going to be able to turn Luke. He's never going to stand by his side because he's a Jedi. I mean, one of the coolest moments in this movie was that Luke managed to reach Vader. He managed to turn him back to the good side. I mean, when Vader lifted up the Emperor and just threw him over the ledge, it was brilliant. And then you get this sort of reveal, like, Vader isn't actually a bad guy. I mean, this guy who we thought for 3 movies was this ultimate villain, this ultimate bad guy, was actually just this sort of tragic figure. He was this character who was just sort of manipulated by the Emperor. So if you haven't seen Return of the Jedi, I may have just spoiled the whole movie for you. But I did put a spoiler warning at the beginning, so that's kind of on you. So overall, Return of the Jedi is a great ending to the original trilogy. So I give this movie a 4.5 out of 5. It feels epic. It wraps up all the characters' stories really well, at least for now, because at midnight tonight, The Force Awakens will be released. We will be uploading our review for The Force Awakens tomorrow. If you like this review, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, thanks for watching.